morning students. On Saturday we saw how to report the interrogative sentences from direct to indirect speech. So let us once again recall the rules, certain rules related to interrogative sentences, how to transform them from direct to indirect speech. I told you on Saturday that interrogative sentences have got two parts. Number one, WH type of question, and the other type is yes no type of question. And I told you that if the type of the sentence of the direct speech is WH type of question, then after the reporting part, that is who said to whom, in indirect speech for interrogative sentences we don't use the conjunction that. Instead of that, for converting WH type of question, we directly take the WH word, and after that, most important thing, first after WH word you should write the subject, because the type of sentence in direct speech may be interrogative, may be a question, but when you transform it into indirect speech, we must convert it to statement or to assertive sentence or declarative sentence. For example, if the sentence is like this, the teacher said, "What are you doing?" The indirect speech will be, the teacher asked what he was doing or what she was doing. And another rule which I told you on Saturday, that if the type of the question in direct speech is yes no type of question. Now what is yes no type of question? The question that doesn't begin with the WH word, but the question which begins with auxiliary, with the helping verb. That is called yes no type of question. So if the direct speech has got yes no type of question, or even we call it verbal question, then in indirect speech, after the reporting part, we should use whether or if, and then we should select the subject followed by the verb and then object. For example, if the sentence is like this, Suresh said, "Are you coming with me?" So Suresh asked if she was coming with him or if he was coming with him. So dear students, after statements and interrogative sentences, today we are going to deal how to report imperative sentences. Now first let us try to understand what is imperative sentence. An imperative sentence may be a command, command means order, it may be a request, or it may be an advice or suggestion. This is called imperative sentence. So today we are going to deal with reporting of imperative sentences, or converting the imperative sentences, converting orders or commands, requests, advice or suggestions from direct to indirect speech. So I have written 3 sentences on board, and we will see how to transform them into indirect speech. Now first, the cop said to John, "Follow traffic rules." Now this is direct speech. Now why this is direct speech? Because follow traffic rules, these are the exact words of the speaker cop, and we quoted it into double inverted quotation without making any changes. That is why this is direct speech. Now, when you transform the imperative sentence from direct to indirect speech, after reading the words of the speaker, the very first requirement is you should identify the type of sentence, whether the imperative sentence is a command, whether it is an order, whether it is a request, or whether it is suggestion or advice. So the cop is saying to John, "Follow traffic rules." So certainly this is command, this is order, and that is why if it is command, we will use the reporting verb commanded or ordered. So it will go like this: the cop ordered John to follow traffic rules. Now dear students, remember, said is in V2, and that is why here we use the reporting verb ordered in V2. Now instead of order, you can also use here commanded. If you say commanded, nothing wrong, that is also right. So since this is command, since this is order, we use the reporting verb order here or command, but since said is in V2, we also wrote ordered in V2. The co-op ordered John to follow traffic rules. Now remember one very important thing, that when you convert the imperative sentences from direct to indirect speech, in indirect speech, after the reporting part, you are not supposed to write that, you are not supposed to write if, you are not supposed to write whether, but after reporting part, you should start by using to, and it is our grammar's rule that after to, invariably you have to write the verb only in V1. Now there may be question in your mind that in the beginning I told you the back shifting of tenses, that if the reporting verb is in the second form, then the present tense in direct speech changes to relative past tense. So there may be question in your mind why it is not followed but why it is follow. Because number one, before follow we are using to, so after to there is no question of writing V2, we have to write the V1 form, first form. And most important thing, this part is, or these words are the part of the main clause. This is only one clause, and already we are using here V2. Since these are the words of the main clause of the same sentence, there is no need again to write this in V2. And most important, the grammatical rule we have to follow, that after using to plus infinitive, we only write V1. So remember, whenever you convert the imperative sentences from direct to indirect speech, then after who said to whom, that is reporting part, you should use here to, and after to, then you should write verb and then the remaining words. Now remember, suppose if the imperative sentence is negative, if it is negative sentence, then what you should do? Then in indirect speech, here you should begin with not to. For example, if the sentence is like this, the cop said to John, don't ride so speedy. The cop ordered John not to ride the bike so speedy, or not to drive the car so speedy. So I hope that you got it. Now second sentence, the old man said, please help me. Now the word please indicates that it's a request, and that is why it will be like this. The old man requested to help him. Now since the word please indicates that it's a request, we use the reporting verb requested. Said is V2, so we added the suffix ed and we wrote the verb request into V2. And as per our rule, after the reporting part, imperative sentence, we start with to. Since it is to, this is V1, and me has been changed to him. Him refers to old man. So I hope that this is very clear that please help me is a request. That is why the old man requested to help him. Now we are going to see one more sentence. The teacher said, work hard for good future. Now work hard for good future, it is an advice or it is a suggestion. So how we should convert this into indirect speech? The teacher advised to work hard for good future. Now since this is advice or since this is suggestion, we use the reporting verb here advised. Since said is in V2, we also used second form of advice. The teacher advised, after that we used to. I told you that I repeat once again that the imperative sentences in indirect speech after reporting part we use to, after to V1. The teacher advised to work hard for good future. And as you can see that in all the indirect speech sentences, we have never used the double inverted comma. We only use full stop. So dear students, in this way we should convert the imperative sentences from direct to indirect speech.